What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Zyda Susan podcast, where you'll hear me talk about literally everything. So I hope you enjoy. Good afternoon. It is December 14th. We are closing out this year. Hope you are finishing strong, doing what you do best every day. Be you, be the greatest you that you can be. Yeah. I don't know why, but I wanted to talk about something specifically first for a minute before I get into whatever I'm gonna talk about today. When I was little, uh, I used to think a lot about what it would be like to be somebody else. Just to be like I'm talking about like very little, like elementary school little, like I remember in the lunchroom specifically just looking at different people, seeing what it must be like to be them, to have their perspective. I don't know why I felt like that was important to say. But yeah, I just thought that was hold on. Sorry. Sorry about that. I just thought that it was kind of weird that I always had that curiosity. It's about how people think, and not just how people think, not just to try to like get in their mind or, um, but just to see their perspective. And what really like kind of scared me about this when I was a kid was that I would never be able to see another person's perspective like truly. And yeah, it was like really just very sobering just for me to for me to as a kid know that, well, not like in a bad way, but for me to know that I'm not gonna ever be anybody but myself. You know, not like that being myself was a bad thing. Of course, I love being me. I hope you love being you. But just the fact that we will never know how somebody else is actually doing. I don't know why. It was always like a big question for me as a kid growing up. And then I kind of like forgot about it until like really just now. I mean, I thought about it a couple times over the years, but like really just now it popped up in my head and I just feel like I should share that with you. I don't know why. But yeah, yep. I know I said I'll do these in the morning, but yeah, I'm just not doing them in the morning right now. So yeah, you're gonna deal with it. I'll start doing them in the morning probably. But if not, it don't really matter. uh, it's not like these are live or anything. You listen when you want to listen. um, yeah, today's been going pretty good so far. My car's supposed to be finally. I'm supposed to be getting my car finally. So yeah, that's good. I'm just honestly tired of talking about this car. I just want it to be working, really. Um, but yeah, I am um, excited about that. I'm very excited about that. I'm sorry if I sound kind of um, just down right now. It's a little cloudy outside. I don't know if that's contributing to my tone, but I feel I feel like it's a valid excuse. um, yeah. Um, I'm sorry about yesterday's rant. I'm not sorry about it, of course, but I'm sorry that it was kind of long, and um, I really just didn't want to minimize anybody's successes. Of course, if you don't have that idea yet, it'll come to you. I promise you. As long as you're looking for it. Yeah, it's not really something that I want to talk about right now. I'm kind of excited of just where we're going in the conscious space. Just the search of what is the actual conscious. Like, some people think that we have a soul. Some people think that it's literally just our brain and body working together. Excuse me. I honestly think that it's somewhere in between. Um, I think that there's definitely a higher power or something that is bigger than us. Not necessarily a higher power, but something that is beyond what we're experiencing. Um, and yeah, I think that it will be cool just how we start to describe that. How we'll try to describe it with science and what we know today. I think that I really like with something as mystical as consciousness. I think it'll be really interesting the different ways that people will come to try and quantify it. Because I mean, we say that like animals or bugs or things, they aren't conscious, but I mean, they're having some experience, and I really think that that'll really start to show itself in the coming years, especially when we try and copy consciousness or model consciousness in some AI. Um, yeah, possibly we'll just come to the conclusion that consciousness is literally just what you get when you have a sufficiently sophisticated being. Possibly we'll just realize it was all in our heads that consciousness was this big mystical thing. Um, but I definitely think it'll be interesting, regardless. Yeah. Because I mean, I don't know. I think the reason why I say consciousness is something in between is because we can literally play with our consciousness with drugs or with lifestyles. We can change our consciousness, literally change the state of our consciousness, and not just changing your perspective, but changing how you perceive the world. Um, I think that's a very powerful tool that we're only really starting to understand. I definitely think that like ancient humans, they had a um, better grip on what consciousness was and where it was. Possibly, I'm not saying that they had it all figured out by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm saying that when we kind of made drugs a taboo or escaping everyday life like just seem as escaping when literally it's just experiencing a different realm of consciousness, experiencing a different experience, you know. um I think that really set us back, um just in terms of spiritual enlightenment, and we just kind of began to focus on just technology and growth and GDP and things that were kind of meaningless in the grand scheme of things. I mean, they made things convenient, they made things nice for people who had to work all day, but still, it didn't help. You know, people are still, depression is higher than it's ever been. Um, Mental health is higher than it's ever been. Um, Mental health problems, I mean, and it's not really helping. You know, it's making things easier, but for what? Um, I honestly think we all need some type of problem. We need some type of struggle in our lives to feel fulfilled, feel like our energy's going to something. I think those princes and princesses are honestly probably very like their life probably feels mundane. It probably feels like it's filled with worthlessness, you know. I mean, if you're literally given billions of dollars just for being born, you'd probably feel, and it's not just about the money. Literally, it's not just about the money. But if you're literally given billions of dollars, like as a birthright, and everybody around you loves you, you never need to want anything. Life probably feel like you probably look for different meaning in life. You probably have a different perspective on what it means to be alive. Um, yeah, I definitely think that they definitely like I would want to talk to a prince or a king or somebody, just somebody who never had to work for anything. They kind of always had to either look out for somebody or just put the people first. And I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to just see how they think. It's probably a lot like governments here, but it's different because they don't the govern the any type of official government governing official here is still like they still are out for a check. They apply for a job at the end of the day, you know, and you might not say it's like all about the money, but it's pretty dirty here. I definitely think that a lot of laws are passed um, following the money. And I just think that it'll be a different experience. I think that they'll have a unique perspective um, that you don't really find like out in nature. Like if you have literally everything, don't have to work for anything. What do you do all day? I bet they just really like. I bet they're very smart. I bet they read a lot. I bet they study a lot. They probably know a lot about what's going on around the world. They probably really just keep their eyes open. They don't look for distractions. And I mean, of course, like the young princes, they probably just party and I mean, they're young. They probably party and like buy cars and like just kind of live that life. But I'm pretty sure they get tired of it and like really, like once they actually start to know what's going on and know the problems that their kingdom's facing, they probably really have just a realization that this life is fragile. This life is fleeting, and I don't know. I think it'll be nice to talk to some aristocrat one day. Yeah, or if not, somebody who has everything figured out. If that somebody exists. I mean, I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Uh, um, I think it's interesting that every. Excuse me. I think it's interesting that every culture has some type of bigger than self like idea or premise. Um, like why is it so why is it so prevalent in human culture to have an idea of something bigger than the self? Um, I think that honestly, um, it's because the universe is one big thing, you know. Um, and whatever is beyond the universe is still one big thing. Um, I think that sometimes, well, not sometimes, but I think that we can tap into that feeling sometimes with a drug or some type of substance, but we don't really need the drug if we just start moving towards spiritual enlightenment, I think that we'll definitely start to live more in the spirit realm, live more in the now, and stop worrying about problems here, that because they are ephemeral. They don't really they aren't real. They are fleeting. They aren't permanent. What is permanent is now. What is permanent is the moment. Now, it does sound kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Just, I don't know, backwards. Like, how can a moment be forever? But I mean, when you really think about it, what's happening right now? Whatever is happening right now is your perspective of what's happening right now. It's not just something that's happening right now. I don't know if I'm doing a good job explaining that, but it makes sense in my head, and yeah, hopefully it makes sense to somebody else. Yeah, I think that we should really go beyond what is we should really try and go beyond what's important for us now, and try and start to think about what is better for us in the future. I mean, that will change with time, of course, so it's kind of hard to think about that. But we really should start focusing on spiritual enlightenment and trying to get people all on the same page, because there's still many people who are successful and who are doing well, rich, wherever, who don't really. Those people are focusing on things that don't matter, and the more energy that we get directed towards things that don't matter, the more our culture will shift to things that don't really matter, and I mean, what matters is perspective based. Nothing. What matters to me is gonna be something different that matters to somebody else. And I definitely think that's important, that we try to align those different perspectives as much as possible. It is definitely important to have different perspectives at the table, and have as much as as many different people and cultures and just lifestyles growing up as we can at the conversation. But those people should be coming to some type of conclusion, and I think that conclusion it's going to happen whether we like it or not, and it should be going to something that is meaningful, something that will lead to a rebirth of something new, something completely different than what we have now. Yeah. Yep. I definitely, I don't know. I think it's weird how a lot of churches ask for money. Like, a church becomes an organization that basically just gets free money that's tax free. And I don't just say that out of nothing. I say that because I have a lot of experience with churches asking for money, literally begging for money. I think it's gross. I think it's gross that you hijack an individual's search for meaning in spiritual growth, and you tell them that if they give money to something that something some being in the sky will value that money, and they will give them whatever they're looking for. I think that is gross. I think that it is toxic, honestly, to their spiritual health. Because I mean, if they just get in the habit of trying to give money to an organization, that's what I'm gonna call it. It's what it is. To try and gain spiritual growth, then what are they? You can't buy spirit. You can't buy a perspective. You know, you can't buy that. It's something that you have to work on individually. You have to build towards that yourself. You know. I mean, some of the richest people don't have a clue about this. I mean, some really do. Some practice it. Some are very aware that it doesn't matter to be rich, but it is comforting, you know. It is comfortable to literally be able to not worry about things, and yeah, you know, there's plenty of comforts that come with having money. But I think that with the way technology is moving, we should move more towards spiritual enlightenment and enlightening of what is bigger, what is out there. Yeah, I really don't know how we're gonna get there, but especially like just seeing where we are now, with the internet, phones. It honestly, it'll probably be centuries before we have an idea of even like the smallest idea of what's all out there. We really think that we have a good idea now of physics and of chemistry, and I don't think that is accurate. I think that is way off. I think that once we see, I think that once we have AIs, we'll definitely start to see huge realizations across science it that we weren't anywhere near far into how deep this thing goes, you know, because this thing's been going around for literally what we know, the observable universe, 13.7 billion years. That is, and for us to think that we've got it figured out in the past, however old science is, like 400 years, like when science was really started. Yeah, I think that is a gross, humorous, just kind of narcissistic view that we are so great, that we have figured out everything and we're so smart. Like, no, that is probably not right. It's probably not true. And I definitely think that we're in the infancy of our technological age. I really have some problems with that word. um, yeah, and I really hope that we move more towards that, or towards attempts to approach that. Most of it is going towards, like, excuse me. You see most of it going towards distractions and things that take people even further away from reality, when we need to start trying to build experiences that make this reality or at least build an experience that can make our perspective on this reality broader. Because I think that AI will honestly help a lot with that. With just like I said before, like with how we view ourselves and how we connect with the world. I definitely think that AI will help us with that. Yeah, hopefully. I'm really trying to stay hopeful. Yeah, things are definitely gonna be different. The next coming years, hopefully at least, or decades. If we don't blow ourselves up, I highly doubt we'll blow ourselves up, just because with so many nuclear weapons around the world, it's basically mutually assured destruction if anybody fires a nuclear missile. I think that what we really should focus more on is um, natural disasters and the prevention of natural disasters. Because a solar flare could happen literally right now, and we could all burn. And it'll be nothing that we could do to stop that. That should be terrifying, much more than the giant nuclear explosion in the sky should be way more terrifying than a nuclear bomb that we have here. And not just a nuclear explosion, a meteor, a earthquake, a really bad storm, all of that stuff is just things that we can't control in our lives. We don't know when it'll happen. We don't know, um, and we have no idea how to stop it. And it's kind of sad. I mean, but we are getting better technologies at monitoring it, and better technologies at seeing how severe it will be. Uh, but a solar flare is honestly probably the most terrifying thing that could happen in your lifetime. Um, just because it will be an immediate destruction of everything around you. Um, like even if you are inside your house, there will be X-rays that literally blast through your building and just incinerate you. Gamma rays that do the same. I'm just saying that everything would instantly vaporize or combust, and it'll literally be hell. Like the earth would turn to hell. It'll be a fiery place. Yeah, and hopefully we come up with some technologies that can uh at least better detect when they'll happen. I know it's kind of hard with the sun being a giant nuclear explosion and its magnetic poles fluxing constantly, but hopefully we come up with some technologies that can better understand the formations. And honestly, AI will probably help with that, just reading the patterns of what the sun's doing and the composition the of the sun, because that is what's most important. Honestly, I think that we will see a big upgrade in our ability to track the composition of materials, hopefully, and within like the next 5 years we'll start to see many new tools being brought out in medicine and in physics and in chemistry and in engineering, and hopefully we'll start to see um, well, at that point there will be a just mass adoption of AI in everything, not just the military or in um, big businesses trying to sell you things, or start to see your phone or your fitness tracker telling you that you need to eat a certain meal today, or like things like that are literally actively scanning what you're putting in your body, or at least scanning, oh yeah, scanning what you're putting in your body, or scanning what's already in your body and what your body, or how your body processes certain things. I definitely think that that will help a lot with nutrition, obviously, but also help a lot with the enjoyment of life as a whole. Because a lot of depression, anxiety, mental health problems come from poor nutrition and poor diet. And I honestly think that'll help a lot. Yeah, hopefully it'll do something. If not that, then I mean, people are getting fatter, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm literally just a 22-year-old. I barely know anything about life, but yeah, who knows? What I mean is, who knows what's gonna happen? Yeah, yeah. Um, we all know that it's gonna change at least. We all know that this experience is fleeting, it's changing, forever evolving into something, never devolving. It doesn't go backwards, you know. Um, Even if we start to see big changes in something, or that solar flare happens, that's still evolution. What's next will be better, and that our perspective of what's better is a perspective. You know, those people who will survive, or whatever species survives next and becomes the next apex predator, they would have, well, their ancestors would have saw that as a rebirth of the planet. And I think that it's important that we really try to stay out of we try to gain perspective, you know, because there's so much happening that we don't see, that we aren't aware of, and you can kind of get lost in your own perspective. Yeah, who knows? Like maybe 2,000 years, or maybe 2,000 years from now, we'll start to see like just giant solar flares happening that wipe out humanity, and then millions and millions of years later, let's say 100 million years later, when the planet is literally doing just fine without us, we see some type of deer person or something with arms, or uh I don't know. Literally, like anything can happen is what I'm trying to say. And we should embrace that. We shouldn't run from it. We should realize that it is just as possible as anything else happening. Yeah, and that's honestly pretty cool for me. Just in, I mean, I know that I'm not gonna be around to experience the changes that happen, But it'll be cool to know that uh they are happening, and I can literally think of anything, and it's probably going to happen. If not here, then somewhere else. I don't know if you guys believe in the multiverse theory, but I think it's pretty entertaining, if not interesting. Um, but anybody who hasn't heard of the multiverse theory, it's just a theory that the universe is one of many, and that there can be um, a universe just like this, that is literally just like this, but maybe instead of being right-handed, you're left-handed, or your eyes are blue instead of brown. Literally anything can happen in infinite times. I don't know. When you start to really think about that logically, it happens over such vast distances that you could say that um, those things aren't the same. It's kind of just a coincidence. Like, if you find a rock that looks the same as that rock, are they the same rock? Or is that rock from the multiverse? Like, no, it's just another rock. I mean, yeah, and just like those people will feel like their perspective is their own. Their perspective is unique. But it's literally just another person, literally just another being. Whatever beings are, whatever a living creature means, whatever it means to be alive. I mean, I think that we'll definitely start to digress from uh just the importance of life. Um, I think it's kind of weird how we're scared of death as a culture, and it's very very obvious when you see what we're building, what we're focusing on, what we're putting our energy into, making things easier, making things safer, making life like baby proofing life, dummy proofing life, whatever you want to call it. We're making things to where it's harder and harder to die. And I mean, of course, like, nobody wants to die. Nobody. Why? What? Why has evolution pushed us into a state of mind of being afraid of death? Well, of course, so we can, um, make babies. We can spawn again. But why has it pushed us to focus in a way of running from death instead of embracing it? Why aren't we curious evolutionarily on what comes next? What if like in a million years, we, like, after the solar flare hits, the next humans, some humans survived, and the next humans are um aware. They have like a sixth sense that is aware of the afterlife, like consciously aware of the afterlife all around them, and it's not a scary thing. Because I mean, like, literally death happens to everyone, and it's kind of weird how we don't embrace it. We don't think that we think that it's like kind of a sad thing, when literally anybody's listening to this is gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm literally okay with dying. I mean, I would like to enjoy my life before I die, but if I die today, I'm okay. Yeah, not to sound like super duper depressed about it, but I literally, like, I've had experiences where I felt like I was dead, so, and it wasn't that bad, so I don't feel like my death is gonna be anything that I'm going to miss. And honestly, I want to see what happens next. I'm ready to see what happens next. I'm ready for that experience of the infinite. Um, in Buddhist religions, they say the Dalai Lama is someone who is they say the Dalai Lama is someone who has from a past life is able to, well, they've like meditated enough or become awake enough to in a past life bring on some of that experience from their past lives. And where did they get that from? I don't know. I think that is, it's not random, you know. I'm not saying that the Dalai Lama is like this something real or like I don't know anything about it. I'm not a Buddhist, but I think it's weird how they would draw a conclusion that you can bring something from a past life. Um, that is something that is so widely practiced. I don't know. I think it's a lot that we don't know and a lot that we are consciously ignoring. Hopefully, we widen our perspectives and grow as a culture, as a race, um, whether it be through technology or evolutionary. I hope that we begin to demystify souls or a feeling of belonging to a greater whole. Um, I really hope that that becomes something that can be clearly defined in the future. Yeah, because that would be cool. Sorry about that. But yeah, I feel like this is a good time to end it. Um, yeah, make sure you take care of yourself today. Go outside, touch grass. And as always, thank you for listening. Have a great day.